Number three, she works as a part of the team on her own at the steel mill. And number four, it's easy, hard work with normal long hours.
All right. So let us listen to the recording. First, let me share the sound with you. Okay, and tell me.
When I graduated from...
Can everyone hear?
Yes.
Yes, miss. Yes, teacher.
Yes,
All right.
teacher.
Here we go. Let us listen to the recording and try to choose the correct options, please.
When I graduated from high school at 18, I didn't have a full-time job at first. I worked part-time in a restaurant. I also did some manual work for a construction company. In the end, I applied for a job as a steel worker at our local steel mill. Pennsylvania has a large steel industry, though it doesn't employ as many people nowadays. Anyway, I've been here for about 5 years now. At first, I didn't get paid very much, but I bills. So now my salary is better. There are 8 people on my team, 6 men and 2 women, and we all get along really well. It's hard work, and the hours are long. You're indoors most of the day, and you're working with steel at temperatures that can reach 3,000 degrees, so it gets pretty hot around here. Sometimes people are surprised when I tell them where I work. I don't think they expect women to work in a place like this, but there are quite a few other women working in this. My supervisor is also a woman.
Okay. Before we go into the questions, let me ask you, by the end of the recording, the girl talking mentions something that can be considered unusual, and she points it out as something relevant or interesting about her job. What is it?
Me, because she works in industry in Pennsylvania, and
Yes.
so in this industry, the most people work are men.
Okay. She mentions it at the end of the recording. Okay, that's okay. Let us listen to one more time. Just remember, at the end of the recording, she mentions something which is kind of unusual in this kind of job. Let's see what it is.
When I graduated from high school at 18, I didn't have a full-time job at first. I worked part-time in a restaurant, manual work for a construction company. In the end, I applied for a job as a steel worker at our local steel mill. Pennsylvania has a large steel industry, though it doesn't employ as many people nowadays. Anyway, I've been here for about 5 years now. At first, I didn't get paid very much, but I trained a lot and learned new skills, so now my salary is better. There are 8 people on my team, 6 men and 2 women, and we all get along really well. It's hard. You're indoors most of the day, and you're working with steel at temperatures that can reach 3,000 degrees, so it gets pretty hot around here. Sometimes people are surprised when I tell them where I work. I don't think they expect women to work in a place like this, but there are quite a few other women working in this industry. In fact, my supervisor is also a woman.
Okay. Well, anything relevant at the end of the recording?
The supervisor
What?
is a woman.
Okay.
And the people they get it, and they are surprised with
Okay.
that fact.
Yeah, probably. We can call it that is kind of surprising.
She
Because-
say the people don't believe she work in this place.
Probably because of misconceptions. This is a kind of job especially for boys. Well, okay, maybe. But that is the surprising, relevant. Not only she works in that place, but also her supervisor is a woman too. So that means that things are probably changing. Okay, that's good. Well, opinions. Question. Well, not question. All right. Ready? Here we go. Any volunteer? Hipólito, would you please, or would you like to read number 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Liz, when she graduated from high school, she had a full-time.
Part-time, right?
Part-time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, she doesn't mention exactly part-time, but she says, I didn't have. And so we may consider the other. Thank you, Polito. That's fine. Jime, would you please read number 2?
Yes, she did some manual work for a construction company.
Okay, thank you. 3. Andrea, would you read number 3?
Yes, teacher. She works as part of a team
All right. At the
at the steel mill.
Okay. 4. Roberto Altamirano?
Yes, miss.
Would
The verb, right?
yes.
It's hard work with long hours.
All right. Thank you. Moises, are you there? Moises?
Repeat, teacher.
Moises, I want you to read number 1, please.
When she graduated from high school, she has a part-time job in a restaurant.
Restaurant. A part-time job.
Job in no
A
in,
rest- In?
in a restaurant.
Okay, very nice. Number 2, please.
She she did some manual work for a construction company.
Okay, thank you. Number 3, Tanya. Would you please read number 3 and 4, Tanya?
Yes. She works as a part of team at the steel mill. And number 4, it's hard work with long hours.
Okay. Well, then let us check all of them. And those are the answers. Thank you. Well, also here, I would like to show you that many times when we have certain words, we can obtain some of the words. For example, from office, we can obtain probably officer. From program, we can obtain programmer. From design, we can also obtain designer. Now, not in all the words it happens. This is something that can happen. In some other circumstances, maybe the word would be different, but let's start working with the easiest one. For example, if we have certain verbs, let's suppose teach, play, maybe swim, and let's say drive. Okay, many times it's possible for us to obtain a new word, a new noun from all of these verbs by adding the suffix er. Many times it's possible to obtain new words. Let me show you an example. If we say teach, it's also possible for me to say teacher, which represents the occupation. Play, player,
Player,
or from swim.
swimmer, swimmer,
So the person that practices this activity. But in the case of drive, I will simply say driver. Okay, so we can also have programmer, etc. In some other circumstances, we will have to do it with the expression is. With this, how can I say, with this suffix, because we will be placing it at the end, we can say, for example, reception. Reception, we can also say science. Let me see if I can get another one. Also, by adding this suffix, we can obtain a new word. Many times, the person who deals with this occupation, I can probably say journal. Okay, observe here. Here, I can say receptionist, science. From science, we will obtain scientist, and from journal, which is saying would be journalist. Also, referring that many times when we are referring to this occupation, maybe it's not only or are the word that I will be using, but in some other circumstances, I will be using or. For example, if I say act, okay, for example, if I say actor, not exactly actor, but also actress is also possible, but also actor. Well, this is something that we call in English suffixes. Okay, these suffixes are particles that we add at the end of certain words so as to obtain some others. When we use these suffixes, many times we make a change, can obtain another word. It can be an occupation, or it can be any other subject related to the same topic. For example, if we say, the word, let me see, advertise. Okay, let's suppose that I have, advertise as a verb. I can also advertisement. I can also obtain the word adverb, simply adverb, and even the word at. Okay, so from one word, we can be obtaining different words by adding those suffixes, like this one. Probably some of the most famous or common suffixes are this, are the ones that we can use this one, or that is why we say competition, creation, etc. Well, okay, but later on we will check them all. Right now, let us just focus on these two different kinds of suffixes. Suffixes that can help us create occupations from some verbs. Okay, is everybody following me?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Well, let me show you the exercise here in the book where we can obtain, or where we can see these suffixes. Let me see if I can. All right. It's here. Word building, the yellow box. Okay. Mhm. And let me see. Michelle, would you please read it? Word building.
Yeah. Word building, suffix, and job words. We often make words for jobs by adding suffix to verbs and nouns. Verb more suffix
Plus suffix
plus verb plus suffix
teach.
teacher not teach, sorry, and teacher.
Mhm.
Noun plus suffix journal, journalist. Some job titles not use a suffix like chef, nurse, etc.
Right. So
Workbooks, page 1959.
59. Okay, thank you. Yeah, as exactly the same way it says here, certain job titles do not use a suffix. For example, in chef, in nurse, in doctor, not always. But some other words, yes. For example, here you can see from advice, we can also obtain advisor. Okay, here is journalist and teacher, engineer, for example, from the engine, and things like that. Well, okay, but I just want you to focus on these 6 words. We have 6, this is not, okay, 6 words, it was this. 6 words that we can turn into jobs by using the suffixes. Ideas, what about farms on the farm?
Farmer.
Right. Did you hear the relative clause that I use? The person who works on the farm is a farmer. Farmer. Many times we can use those relative clauses when we are giving definitions. Right, it's a farmer. What about the person who works or who acts?
Actress?
Actor.
Both of them. Actor, actress, right. Economics with this.
Economist?
Right. Economist, right. From build.
Builder?
Right. Builder. Science.
Science?
Scientist.
Scientist. And finally?
Trainer?
Trainer.
Yeah, we can also say trainer. Well, training, it's okay if we refer to the noun. It's also acceptable. In this case, we were talking about jobs. In this case, the word trainee is also acceptable in another circumstance, but okay. All right, so you see, learning suffixes is not difficult. It's just a matter of practice. It's a practice that you can do, and then you will surely obtain those words. Remember that they are not consistent. I mean, not all of them will be er. Some of them will be or. Some others will be with ist and etc. Right? Now, when we are referring to those prefixes. Okay, let's repeat. Farmer.
Farmer.
Economist.
Economics.
Scientist.
Scientist.
Actor.
Actor.
Builder.
Builder.
Trainer.
Trainer.
Okay. I need one volunteer who can of any of these words, but using a relative clause. Come on, any volunteer who can make a definition using a relative clause.
Me.
All right, Hipólito, go ahead.
An actor is a person who makes movies.
Okay, makes movies. Very nice. Thank you.
Can I
Hipólito.
try it?
Sure.
Okay. Chris Hemsworth, who is an actor, who is in an actor, acted in the movie Avengers. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. It's a very good try. Actually, I was asking to give us a definition. But anyway, that is a beautiful example of example of a relative clause. Okay, thank you. Anybody else who would like to give us a definition of any of these jobs using a relative clause?
Yeah, miss.
All right.
Okay. Economist who works in finance or something relation with the economy.
Okay. So we can probably say, Eduardo, an economist who works, right, with financial situations or with finances, maybe. An economist. Okay. Any other? With builder or farmer or scientist? Yes, Jimmy.
Farmer who is the person who makes who care the pig.
Okay, who takes care of pigs. Okay, why not? Well done. Okay, let's continue. Well, those are relative clauses. Well, those are the suffixes, and now you can see that also the relative clauses are good when we are making definitions. And here we go. Let me show you this mini reading. I need 3 volunteers, preferably people who have not participated. Preferably.
For read?
Yeah, to read.
Okay, me.
Teacher,
Okay.
I am.
Roberto, Fatima, and Roberto, Fatima, and
Jesus Galicia.
and Jesus. Roberto, Fatima, and Jesus. Roberto, you will be reading A. Fatima, you will be reading B. And Jesus Galicia will be reading C. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Roberto, I'm afraid you will have to begin here. When jobs came to Pennsylvania, please.
Okay. When jobs came to Pennsylvania in 2004, an energy. Okay. An energy company.
04.
Okay. An energy company discovered gas under the ground in the state of Pennsylvania in USA. Now there are lots of energy companies in Pennsylvania, and many people's lives have changed. Donald Rusler lives on a farm. He has lived there for most of his life, but he hasn't made much money from it. 2 years ago, however, an energy company went the gas under his farm. Now they pay Donald a regular monthly income for the energy.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Lisa hasn't had a job since she lost her old job at product factory, but recently a lot of energy companies have employed new drivers, so now she's learning to drive trucks.
Okay, Paul Batista.
Has run his company selling construction equipment for about 24 years. He has had some bad times, but since natural gas was discovered in the air, Paul's profits have increased. Besides, is looking good.
Business. It's looking good.
Business.
Okay. Let me. That was not my intention. Let us. Okay. Let me put some of the words in the chat whose pronunciation will be checked so we can make a difference. And we can improve or, improve our pronunciation. So then I will explain the difference, or I will explain the pronunciation here. Okay, let me see. Under and equipment. Okay. All right. Take a look at the chat, the Zoom chat. And here we will see 1, 2, 3, 4 words. The first one is the verb live. Remember, so the verb is live. When we are using this verb in present, we say he lives. We don't say lives, because lives is the plural of the word life. Life, which is vida, yes, and then you say lives. Vidas is the difference if we say he lives, él vive. Okay, in this paragraph, in this text, you can see both examples. Many people's lives have changed. So here we are really talking about life, and then the plural lives. But in the second, here, Donald Rosler, we are referring to he lives. Is the third person of the verb in present, lives, and therefore it will be lives. And here it will also be. The other comment comes from the word business. Okay, if we say busy, which is occupied, we will call them business when we are referring to the expression. If we say bossy, for example, this is bossy, which is mandon, is a different idea. Okay, so remember, busy, business, and the other word. Equipment. I don't think there is a major problem with equipment, which is quite. It's important that we say sense, because most of the times the students usually say science, but science is this. This is science and the other is sense. Okay. Let us listen to the recording, but before we listen to the recording, let me read it to you so you can hear certain words like Pennsylvania and USA. When you are reading a year like this is 2004, and we don't, in this case, we don't use the 0 and 4. The one which is more practical for you would be the idea. When jobs came to Pennsylvania in 2004, an energy company discovered gas under the ground in the state of Pennsylvania in the USA. Now, there are lots of energy companies in Pennsylvania, and many people's lives have changed. Donald Rosler lives on a farm. He has lived there for most of his life, but he hasn't made much money from it. 2 years ago, he wanted the gas under his farm. Now they pay Donald a regular monthly income for the energy. Remember that income is the amount of money that you make as part of your job. Lynn Savislak hasn't had a job since she lost her old job at a bottle factory, like Coca-Cola, for example. But recently, a lot of the energy companies have employed new drivers. So now she's learning to drive trucks. Paul Batista has run his company selling construction equipment for about 35 years. He has had some bad times, but since natural gas was discovered in the area, Paul's profits have increased and business is looking good. All right, let us listen to the recording. Pay attention, please, to the words that we practice. And here we go.
In 2004, an energy company discovered gas under the ground in the bay. Now there are lots of energy companies in Pennsylvania, and many people's lives have changed. Donald Rosler lives on a farm. He has lived there for most of his life, but he hasn't made much money from it. 2 years ago, however, an energy company wanted the gas under his farm. Now they pay Donald a regular monthly income for the energy. Lisa Vislak hasn't had a job since she lost her old job at a bottle fee. A lot of the energy companies have employed new drivers, so now she's learning to drive trucks. Paul Batista has run his company selling construction equipment for about 35 years. He has had some bad times, but since natural gas was discovered in the area, Paul's profits have increased and business is looking good.
Remember that Paul's profits are, again, the money that he has generated as a result of your work.
Y se le escucha muy bajito.
Okay. Profits, the word here, profits, is the amount of money that you obtain as a result of your investment. So this is what profits. For example, if you sell a product, maybe you pay certain amount of money for the product, and then the extra money that you obtain as a result of that selling is what we call profits. Right? Hello?
Miss, I have a question. What is the main profits? Can you repeat or you say?
Sure. Profits is the amount of money that you receive by eliminating the cost or the thing or your investment. That amount of money that you obtain like extra of your investment, that is your profit. When you don't obtain a profit is, for example, when the job is not giving you any extra money. So if you buy something and you sell it back in the same amount, but you didn't produce any money, then you are not obtaining any profits. Profits is the amount of money that you obtain as part of your investment. Is that okay?
It's okay. I understand that.
Buy a jar of coffee in 10 pesos, and then you sell that jar of coffee on the market in 20 pesos. What is your profit? The money that you obtain before, apart from your investment. If you invested 10 pesos and then you obtain 5 or 10 or 15 more pesos, that is your profit. Yes?
Teacher, I understand. In Spanish, it's like a beneficio or ventaja. You can say that.
Any other word? Class, any other word for profits in Spanish?
No, everything is fine.
No. I need to know if you have another word for profits. Which one?
Ganancias.
Ganancias, there it is. Yes, Jose Eduardo?
Don't you say you like a beneficio because you make some win some money or win another thing? So it's not the same or it's different?
Yeah, no, it's the same. the benefit that you obtain, it can also be a profit. For example, when you are referring to a non-profitable job, let me put it here on the screen. When I put it on the chat, non-profitable job. So that means the job of money, which is not giving you some benefit, some money. So it's non-profitable. Yeah. In negative, when you say, for example, this kind of job is non-profitable. Clase de trabajo no es lucrativo, no es sí, que no le obtienes ninguna ganancia, que no lucras con él, que no lo comercializas. Okay, you're welcome. Well, okay, and so, any other question about the reading? No? Well, please, if you do have I need you to practice this reading, please, at home, so we can later on answer these questions here. If you don't have your book, please take a picture of it so you can do the practice at home. And then we can answer the questions. Ready? Shall we continue?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. With the grammar point that we were checking last week. Remember that last week we were referring to relative clauses, and there is one that we were practicing during the class. Well, today we will see two new relative pronouns. In this case, which, that. These two relative pronouns, which are similar in meaning and in translation, will be dedicated to things or animals, not people. Who is the only relative pronoun we will be using when we are referring to people? From now on, when we are referring to things, objects, we will be using the relative clauses which or that. There is no difference between using any of them. The only one recommendation that I will be making is, please be very, very careful with the spelling. Many times, many students, the big mistake they make is when they write this. Because this is the same. No, it is not the same. So please be and consider the spelling that we are using in this relative. All right. In English, when we want to connect two sentences, you know that we use relative clauses. Everybody knows that. Okay, now, if we are connecting sentences about people, we will be using who. If we are connecting sentences about things, objects, animals, we will be using which or that. Let me give you an example. If we say, for example, a whale, does everybody know? Does everybody know?
A whale is
Does everybody know?
Ballena.
Right. Okay, so a whale is a marine mammal. Okay, a whale probably weighs, well, I'm not very sure, but let's suppose 12 tons, approximately. Okay, if I say that tigers are found in Sumatra and they are animals in danger of okay, tigers are found in Sumatra, on the island. They are animals in danger of extinction. Or maybe I can say that oranges are grown in Oshkosh, let's suppose Miami. Okay, oranges are grown in Miami, and they are, so the oranges are pretty cheap in terms of price. Well, okay, I want you to observe these three pairs of sentences. These three pairs of sentences are referring to animals in singular or in plural, objects, things, in this case, fruit, in plural. Well, remember that the purpose of the relative clause is to help us connect ideas, is to help us make longer sentences. Well, in this case, sometimes it's possible to connect the sentences. Some other times it will be necessary to change or adapt or insert something or even change the order. For example, if I say that a whale is a marine mammal and a whale weighs 12 tons, repeat is a whale. Observe. That is the word that I am going to eliminate. What is repeated in the sentence? A whale. Tigers, okay, this one, and also they. And oranges, and also the word, the oranges here. Okay, the verb is a different story. So I can probably say that a whale remember that we usually use a definite or a particular position for the relative pronoun, which is immediately after the subject. A whale, which is a marine mammal, weighs 12 tons. And in this sentence, I am connecting my two original sentences so as to make only one. A whale, which is a marine mammal, weighs 12 tons. If I say, for example, that sometimes it's possible to change the order, yes, I can probably bring the extra information and insert it. And I can probably say, well, a whale, which weighs 12 tons, is a marine mammal. Remember that I told you the only one way we can see if our relative clause is correct is by eliminating the extra information. In this case, the extra information is the one which is immediately after the relative pronoun. If I eliminate this information, I must have a logical sentence. For example, a whale weighs 12 tons. Observe this is, or maybe I can eliminate, well, this one, a whale weighs 12 tons. what do I have? A whale is a marine mammal. So how can I probably know if my relative clause is correct? Well, if I eliminate the extra information, I must have a logical complete sentence. Got it? Yes?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Well, let us work with the second one. Tigers are found in Sumatra. They are animals in danger of extinction. Could anybody please help me to connect these two sentences?
Tigers.
Yes, Naomi.
Tigers, which
Tigers.
tigers, sorry, which are found in Sumatra. Are animals in danger of extinctions, but with comma, no?
Okay. Recommendation. Don't worry. Well, right now, don't worry about the comma. Later on, we will dedicate one session to learn when do I have to use the comma and when I can probably about the comma. Actually, on the first partial exam, if you include or if you don't include the comma, I won't penalize it. I will probably penalize it at the end on the final exam, but not now. So don't worry about, teacher, do I have to use a comma or I don't have to? Okay, don't use it. And later on, I will explain when, in certain circumstances, yes, you have to.
To the verb to be. The next for in the
in this one.
No, are.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes, you're right. Okay. Possible to connect the sentences in the middle. For example, I can probably say a whale is a marine mammal which weighs 12 tons. But in some other circumstances, it won't be possible for me to connect the sentence in the middle. For example, if I say tigers are found in Sumatra, in that case, it doesn't make any sense. Like this. For example, in this sentence, yes, connecting the sentence in the middle is applicable. It's possible, which weighs 12 tons. But in the second sentence, connecting the sentence in the middle is not appropriate. Tigers are found in Sumatra, which are animals in danger of extinction. No, it doesn't sound. It doesn't make any sense. So in this version, it's not possible. But in the first one, yes. Okay, what about the last one? Oranges. Any idea?
The orange that are grown in Miami. Are pretty cheap.
Okay. Thank you. Remember that here is exactly the same if we use that if we use which. Exactly the same. There is no difference. So it's the same here, which are grown in Miami, that if I say oranges,